Lately, the theme of this channel has been Apple products. I've been exploring Apple. Now, again, I've actually wanted to be more of a serious creator, more of an artistic person. I used to be very artistic. I used to draw as a kid and stuff. Now, I never learned some of the fundamentals to like really draw crazy cool stuff, but I am inspired by so many people who can draw so damn well. And I can actually see how they're doing it these days. Like, and I think I can pull it off, learning their techniques, learning, there's certain ways to draw things and to position figures. And if you get those fundamentals down, it looks like a hell of a lot of fun. So, honestly, I used to be very artistic until YouTube came around, and then I just started spamming videos and playing video games like before I originally got into YouTube, like in 2008 or something. Like I was done with video games. I just did a bunch of artistic crap, and then I saw people doing video game crap on YouTube and talking about all this, their favorite stuff, and I got into all that and wasted a ton of time. So I wanted to get back into like learning how to draw. So that's the reason why we got like an iPad here. Now I think the iPad Pro 12 something inch is too big. You can see this one is a lot smaller. It's like they have like a 10 inch, 11 inch, and also we can see this is not the Pro. You can tell by the camera. It's only one camera. The thing is, like, if you like, I see these as tools. So there's people running around saying, "Oh, it needs an OLED display," or "It's garbage," or "Oh, it needs to, we need to find the best." So obviously, the iPad Pro with the biggest display, with the best screen. Honestly, that thing is too big, I think, and it looks laughable. And drop this very expensive MacBook. So yeah, I think this is the perfect size. And again, so Apple has programs like Procreate and stuff. Now, does it have an OLED display like the Samsung products that I use? No. Okay. Does it need an OLED display? No. So this is more about the software that it supports and using it as a tool. Now, there's people out there that just want to watch movies in the dark and they want true blacks and shit. So IPS displays aren't good enough for them and blah, 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 blah. And, they want XDR or whatever, anything that's moderately better. They'll shell out the money. They need tons of gigabytes for whatever freaking reason. But if you just want like an iPad to draw, you don't need the best performance. You don't need the best display. You don't need a lot of things. You don't need the best cameras. So I've seen some of the most talented artists who use the iPad and software like Procreate using several generation old iPads that are a couple $100, and they are creating amazing things. So that's the difference between like an artist, a creator, and a consumer whore who just wants to buy the most top of the line thing, the latest and greatest, and waste a ton of money and still have no talent. Like, that's the reason why I hate video games, because you could sit there for years of your life playing a video game and people say, "Oh, you can get good at a video game." No, you're just wasting your life. So definitely, I used to be really big into art, and I want to learn the fundamentals of drawing and stuff like that, because I think I can do it these days if I put effort into it. And that's what I want to focus on, to replace video games, is a lot more artistic and creative stuff. And again, the whole point of this is you don't necessarily need the best stuff. Now, like, oh my God, like if I wanted to play like League of Legends or something on this, oh maybe I want the 120 hertz, and even for gaming, like if the display is too big, it's gonna be hard to play and stuff. So anyway, and it's like apparently a lot of people are really mad that the iPad Pro, most apps and stuff don't even support its power. So like you're just wasting your money. So yeah, so that's the iPad. I think like the iPad Air, or maybe even the smaller iPad Pro, or even a couple of generation old iPad, just generic iPad, is more than sufficient for what I actually want to use it for. Like, so, again, there's people out there who try to like, oh, I want the best. I want the display to look the best. Like my Huion drawing tablet has a ton of motion blur. It's an IPS display or whatever, something like that. It's not OLED. Okay. And you can tell, I could never use that as my main display. So yeah, I see these as tools, not for movie consumption and, I want true blacks and neon, blah, blah, blah. Now on to the MacBook Pro. MacBook Pro, again, so many people talk about this, like, what do you want to use it for? Like, a lot of people, what they do with this is they connect it to like a display, and then they get like a third-party keyboard, and they just mount this somewhere and use it like a stationary PC, and then they just connect a display and a keyboard and a mouse to it. Or some people will put it up on a stand, because like if you put it, like if you use this like a laptop, what I'm trying to get to is laptops are extremely fatiguing to use. They're not ergonomic at all. Like you have to constantly look down at it. So a lot of people put it up on a stand, and then they get like another keyboard for it and mouse, and like at that point, you might as well have just bought like a stationary desktop computer and used an external keyboard and mouse and display. So yeah, this is when you're in a pinch. That's the only reason why, like, I think this is worth a damn. Sure, like you've got to take it somewhere and use it at a Starbucks or something. But and just to rant about Apple, like I was looking at so many of the new Mac Studio. Apparently, it has a lot of fan noise that it never turns off. If you get the Mac Mini, apparently it's got like Bluetooth problems because of the case that it's in. Like the Bluetooth can't get a good signal, and there's just all these problems. The mouse that comes with Apple products is a joke. The keyboard's a little bit better, but so people go out and have to buy a bunch of third-party stuff, and like every time I look at an Apple product, the iMac, stuff like that, like I find all this crap that it's not worth owning, that it's a waste of money, that it has all these problems. Like a few years ago, they had like butterfly switches for their keyboards on the MacBooks, and literally they had a huge failure rate and stuff. And like, my God, Apple is the IEMs, everything is, people act like Apple is this amazing company, and they are just riddled with problems. So every time like I'm gonna buy an Apple product, it turns out it has all these problems. That's not to say that they don't have good things, but like, again, the display ain't that good on this. A lot of overpriced crap going on. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to the software. Final Cut Pro, Procreate. I mean, that's bad. I mean, there's a couple other things, but so again, the main point of this is you should see these things as a tool, and it doesn't really matter. Like, again, unless you're a consumer who just wants to create a home theater out of this stuff. But like, if you're a creator, you really got to think about like, really, how much power do you need, and get all the bugs and the problems with this equipment. Again, you have to see it as a tool. And the main thing is, don't think you need to buy the most expensive thing. Because I see the most talented people using an iPad from several generations ago making the best stuff imaginable. And then you got these people who go out and buy the iPad Pro, huge 12 plus inch things, and those things are just bulky as hell and a waste of time and money, you know. So again, if you're out there always looking for the best, a lot of times it's not actually the best. But the main point of this video is, God, the more that I look at Apple products, the less I want them.